This episode of the Community Workbench podcast is brought to you by yours truly, Matt Norn of Remax Bell Park Realty. For all of your real estate needs, give me a call, 860-428-6534. Your dreams are my job. Welcome to Community Workbench. This is Matt Norn and Kyle Morrissey. We are your hosts of the #1 podcast in my basement. Every week we bring you small business entrepreneurs, community leaders, charities, and pretty much whoever we feel like talking to. And this week we feel like talking to Ashleigh Taylor Bridal and Beauty LLC. They have brought the owner, Ashleigh, and one of her friends and coworkers, Heather. How are you, ladies?
Good. Very good for having us.
You're very welcome. So, enhancing beauty and inspiring confidence is what it says.
Yes.
Can you do anything for my buddy?
Wow.
Right in it.
That's fantastic. You never insult me. I'm so proud of you.
He's waited all week.
The answer is no.
I know, but I had to ask.
Have you been waiting to say that all week long?
Today when I looked it up on her website, I just wanted to see if we were missing out or if I needed to ask anything. The research that we do.
That was such a good segue.
And I'm glad the #1 podcast line is still getting a laugh from at least one of
Every
you.
time.
So anyway, talk to us. The industry of basically makeup and hair for brides.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into that? Tell us a little bit about your background and how this all came about.
So for me, it started many, many years ago when I was actually going to school for acting.
Okay.
I actually wanted to be an actress. Oh, God.
God,
Back
she's
then.
way more qualified for this than us.
We act. We're just not good.
It's not a high bar.
So I did go to school for theater performance. And while I was there, I started working at the costume shop there to get, kind of my hands into the kind of the background stuff besides being in the stage front, do the background stuff. And one of the women there was the makeup artist for the musicals in the theater. So I started working with her. And as soon as I started doing it, I started to fall in love with the makeup design, being behind the scenes instead of being in front of the camera. So I actually started changing my career path while that was happening and started off working originally in musicals in theater.
Oh,
So that's where my background is.
Beautiful.
And then after working on that, I started working on films that were in Boston and started working on runway shows, photography, things like that.
Okay.
So kind of dabbled on everything. Weddings kind of fell into play because I needed something else on the days that I was not working, like on set or films, which were mostly during the week. So on the weekends, I started doing some weddings, but it didn't really go full force, I think, until I started having kids, actually. So when I had my son, it kind of worked out with our scheduling. So it was more time during the week with him, and then on the weekends I could do weddings, and it just kind of
Yeah.
snowballed
Yeah.
going into the weddings, and now I've been doing it ever since. I still miss my stage. I still miss like doing the background. I think when the kids get a little bit older, I may try to do a little bit more of the film. I miss working on sets,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I still have the passion for
I'm sure
that.
there's definitely an ambiance there that
Yeah.
isn't duplicated many other places.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a different atmosphere, a big difference atmosphere than what you get for bridal. But
I can only imagine.
Well, it's funny when you're working like on set, they have no say. So you're like, nope, this is what we're doing.
yeah,
You don't like it? It is what it is. Talk to that guy.
yeah.
But
Because we
With
go by
bridal,
the
yeah.
director, so you would have like the one-on-one with the director asking what they want specifically. Then it's up to you to create that. Still put your 2 cents in it, of course, and guide them and everything. But she's absolutely right when it comes to the actors. If I have to make you look old, I have to make you look old. Like, I'm sorry.
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure brings that artistic talent in anyway. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I have to creatively make this 21-year-old look like she's 96.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, to be honest. I used
Yeah.
to love doing that, or doing special effects. like
Okay.
having them have bruises, cuts, broken bones, noses,
Mutilated
things like
faces.
Yeah,
She's into that on the side.
yeah, I'm totally on the side. My bride would not be happy.
Right.
But that also helps me if a bride does have a bruise from something or rosacea or has something, it does allow me to know how to properly cover it for them because of that background that I have as well.
You haven't had any zombie brides?
No. I have had the skull. What is the skull one I was thinking of? You know what
Pirates?
I'm talking about.
Skull and-
The sugar skull.
Yeah.
I've had a wedding before in Salem. That was a theme one,
okay.
and they were sugar skulls. That was really
Oh,
cool.
you had to make them
Yeah.
into a skull.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was many moons ago when I still lived in Massachusetts, but that was a really cool wedding for the theme and Halloween. And
Well, it's just different too.
it is
Yeah.
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 way different than what we do now.
So how many years ago was your first wedding? Like,
Oh God. I think wedding wise, I've been doing it for 12, maybe 12 years. But in general, I've been doing makeup for 19.
nice. Gotcha. Awesome. Heather, what about you? Like, what kind of got you going down this path?
So I've always loved doing hair. Originally went to school for biotech. Got there and I was like,
Wow.
maybe no.
Wildly different.
Wildly different, but it really has helped my background. So I was actually working in Putnam for about 13 years at a salon there. And Ashley and I actually know each other from high school and just like knew of each other, but never really connected or anything. And then when COVID happened, we had kind of touched base and we were like, how can I help your business? How can you help my business? And it just kind of started that way. And then at the time I was looking to take on extra work because I am a director of education for a hair color company. And I was used to traveling like 25 flights a year. And then with COVID, it was just, I was like, I have to sleep in the same bed every night. Like I'm not used to that lifestyle. So it kind of worked out perfect that I was like, okay, I can help Ash. And we obviously had like this giant influx of weddings that happened. And it was a mess. It was. I don't know how we survived. But so yeah, I got to be with Ashley that way. And then I got to really help her to build a hair team.
Okay.
Because in the past she was doing like mostly just makeup. She had a couple.
Yeah.
And then we were just like, okay, how can we like broaden the offerings? And
Well, you pretty much came to me and you're like, I don't want to organize it anymore. Can you just do it? And I'm like, yes, because I'm type A and I like things organized. So I'm like, if you can be in charge of like pretty much the hair part of it,
Yeah.
I'll organize it for you.
yeah, we just kind of like collaborated and worked on it that way. But I love that I get to do this with her. We have so much fun togetger.
Yeah, we
And
do.
we get to do something that like we enjoy every single day. And like I so appreciate what she does because I could not do that. And
All the makeup.
yeah. And yeah, so it's just really worked out. So that's how I kind of got into I was doing hair and makeup. Believe it or not, I was doing makeup.
Oh, I
It's
believe
probably
it.
not very good.
I'm sure it was
But years ago when
fine.
I first started doing hair, and then I was just kind of like, oh, I'm over this. I'm traveling for work now. My whole entire job's changing. And then I missed it.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like came together at the right time and got to do it again. It was very cool.
She's very, very busy though. Very, very busy.
You still
so trying
work
to
for that
steal her.
company?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you're
So-
busy Monday through Friday.
I travel usually every other week, Saturday to Tuesday, and I come home. I'm trying to have Wednesdays off, and then I work behind the chair Thursday, Friday. I manage full client base, and then
Weddings.
weekends and stuff we do weddings. So yeah, no, I'm a workaholic, but I mean it's fun.
Right.
You know, like-
if you do what
Right.
you love,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really work.
And everyone's like, "Oh, is it hard dealing with the public?" I'm like, I am with people on the happiest day of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Like
true.
Yeah.
you can't go to work in a better situation than that.
Yeah. You kind of have to leave it out of the door anyway. Like the
Yeah.
moment you arrive, even if you're going through something, you can't bring that in. Like this is their day.
Right.
You know?
yeah.
I tell him that every
Ah, thanks.
You had to get one back. Hadn't you?
there'd be more.
He's just warming up, right?
Nice. So now, like, if I'm a client, what do I call you, I'm sure, and basically, what are the first couple of steps with that?
So it depends. So usually I go through email. So email is usually the best source for me because I'm definitely one of those people that if I don't recognize your number, I'm not picking up. I just it's just one of those things just because it's telemarketers and everything. But email is probably best. They usually go through the website because there's a contact page that they can just write all of their details, which is so important because if you just email us and say, hi, I'm looking for hair and makeup, here's my wedding date, are you available? I then have to kind of email and ask 5,000 questions. But if they go through the website, all the questions are right there that they can quickly, takes like 2 minutes to do, if that, not even, and email it. And then I'll receive it. And the way that my process goes is like 4 different things to make sure that, I don't overly book or double book or anything like that. So I will look at their information, first see if we have availability. If, let's say, Heather and I already booked that day, we do have other girls in the team. And then I'll reach out to them, see their availability, and then we go from there. Then I'll email the bride, letting them know that we're available. This is what we offer. They usually ask what the rates are, all the above, and then I send that information. So they have everything right there. I don't sugarcoat anything. Pretty much I want them to know rates, details, what to expect from us right from the start. So that way they don't feel like, I have to keep asking 5,000 questions just to get this rolling. So I try to make it as easy as possible for them. They got a lot of wedding planning to do. This process should be easy. So that's pretty much the process of it. So I make sure, and you should see how many calendars I have because, seriously, I'm old school. I write everything down. Nothing's on my laptop.
Please digitize your life.
I know. I'm pretty cheap.
We even have a shared calendar for things that are going on.
She will show me things like technology and everything, and I still feel like I'm old school because I love everything written down so I can see it.
I actually can't book your date until you mail me in a check. I'm like, Ashley, people don't have checks.
I haven't done that in years.
And if they have one, they don't know how to write it out.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're like 20.
What happens when you don't have your calendar with you?
Oh, life does not happen.
It's always on me, even on my phone.
Okay.
So I do.
You do have some
digital.
Phone.
Okay.
Yes, and honestly, if they reach out to me and I'm out and about, obviously I will get back to them during business hours. I try really hard to manage both of it because I do have a family. So I manage the times that I'm available for them, and I try really hard to get back within a 24 to 48 hour time frame for their email, so they're not waiting too long. And for us, our dates go very, very quick. So if they don't reach back out to us within also a period of time, that date could be booked.
And if you want to plug your website, what is that?
It's www.ashleightaylorBridalBeauty.com.
Beautiful. And we can plug that a few more times this episode. I just wanted to get it out there early.
I just didn't want to have to say every letter. And Ashleigh, though, because people will get confused, Ashleigh is spelled differently. So it's ASHLEIGH.
Bridalbeauty.com, right?
Ashleigh Taylor, bridalbeauty.com.
Okay.
He'll put it in the comments too. So, right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
You're awesome.
We have Instagram page as well, which has a lot of the work on. Each of the girls on the team have their own bridal beauty pages on Instagram too. So it's really good for people to go kind of use it as a bit of a portfolio, I feel, nowadays.
Can they get to their page from your page, from the main one? Oh, nice.
And they also have a place to see on Instagram from the website too.
Yes.
So I noticed.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a link.
Yes. And there's information.
She's got a well organized website where we're like buckshot. All over.
We have work
media.
to do.
Do you know how long it took me to do that website?
You did it yourself?
I did that whole thing myself.
good for
It
you.
took me like
Good
2
for you.
weeks. It was so much.
Yeah, I built
That's
the website
light years
before.
faster than us.
Yeah. So see, I'm not too bad with technology.
No.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right?
Friends.
I got the website
Listen,
down.
I'm like, let them pay with a credit card.
well, then
We do. For anyone listening, we do. We have a lot easier system now. Yes.
So you don't need checks. You can pay by credit card, cash.
We usually just do check for deposits.
Yep.
So they do their deposit right on the website. So it's super easy for them to do that. Once the deposit and the contract is received, then their wedding is officially booked, and then we move on to scheduling them a bridal trial.
Okay. What's a bridal trial like?
Do you want to start this?
Yeah. So Ashley and I are just really lucky we get to work together all the time. So we're typically on the same weddings together. So like I would go to her studio right here in Brooklyn, and we have the brides come in, they bring their ideas, what do they want for hair, what for makeup, and we basically counsel and advise them like this will enhance you, this won't do you any favors, you know. And we just kind of give them an idea of what they're looking for, and sometimes you do it and they're like, maybe I have a bad sense of what I'm looking for.
Maybe
And
we need to go in a different direction.
yeah, exactly. But and sometimes they bring friends, sometimes they bring family, and it just is also a really good time for us to kind of meet and greet with them. And we'll do things like ask them, how did you meet, your fiance? We want a little bit of that
I always tell
backstory.
them I'm nosy. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want the details. I want to know how you met.
But then it's like when we
You
show
should start a
up.
podcast. You can.
Oh yeah.
I know. That's what I was telling Heather when we said. I was like, we should do one.
Yeah. But then when we show up on the wedding day, you don't feel like you're with a stranger.
Right.
I've learned a little
Right.
bit about what you like, what you don't like, your story. And that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, you know better than I, but we always get these really great like thank you cards from people. And they're like, you made me excited for my day. You made me feel relaxed. Your bubbly personality. You just had that one, I think 2 weeks
I
ago.
did, yeah.
And it's like that just allows us to feel everyone out.
Right.
And we know, do we have to handle somebody with baby hands on the day of? Do we not? That we just cater to what they need. And that trial really, I feel, is more for us.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
You know?
Like it's not mandatory, so I do let the brides know that we have had brides that did not want a trial. They saw our work and they're happy with what it is. They trust us, and we see them on the day. And obviously, throughout the time, there's a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Always do a phone call. I always do a phone call with the girls that I don't see, so that way she can at least hear me, talk with me, do the details that way. But yeah, the bridal trials, I agree. I love doing them because we get to meet them and they get to be comfortable. And I know it can be really nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
especially if they've had makeup or hair done before. And let's just say it wasn't the most,
Right.
promising
It
experience.
wasn't fun.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you can ease their mind, especially on the most important day of their life.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're spending the most money they've ever spent.
Right.
And,
Right.
Yeah, and I remember you saying something like it's like skin type goes into it and everything. So having a trial will help you guys gauge, and you're not surprised when
1,000%. Yeah. I like that for the skin and the tone and making sure, because they can get a picture and show us hair or makeup, and it's just not going to work with their skin tone or their hair color. So we always recommend them, if you have blonde hair, come with a blonde haired picture.
Sure.
And same thing with skin. If you're, light skin, medium skin, whatever skin tone you are, try to show a photo in regards to that, because then you're going to have a better sense of knowing what it's going to look like.
Right. So you have a love-hate with Pinterest?
Yes. Yes. Oh, the expectations sometimes are very unrealistic.
well, it's a curated world, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want to look like her. She has no pores. And Ashley's like, you actually have skin on your face. So you're going to see texture.
Yeah.
You're going to see all this.
That's my favorite.
But, on Instagram, you don't see that.
Right. And as a realtor, same thing. Pinterest. Like,
Right?
you can walk into a house and be like,
No.
everything is on Pinterest. Pinterest puked in this house.
Yeah. My husband's in construction, and he's like, it was the worst thing ever for my industry. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy.
So, but I would have to say, after talking to some of them, and they show a picture, the girls lately, I would say, that are really, really good at knowing, like, no, I know you can't, like, fully get rid of this. And I'm like, my favorite is, of course, like, I have these wrinkles, and I'm like, guys, it's makeup. It's not Botox. It's not, I'm not a magician. There's only so much I can do.
Do you have a guy for Botox?
Yeah. I'm not going to deny a Botox. Like, go get it done if it's going to make you happy. No judge here, but I will definitely let them know ahead of time that if they do have a certain texture, there's a little, that may show.
Yeah.
But obviously you do your best to, make it as flawless as possible.
But I think what happens the most in our trials, it's the first time many of these girls are being educated, like truly educated.
Yeah, not many. There's not a lot of malls doing makeup. or
No,
anything
and how many
anymore.
times do we get brides that were like, oh, so what's your makeup like daily? And they're like, oh, I never wear it.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you just showed me like,
it's
this
true.
full glam image. And like, so, I mean, I feel like it's on you a bit more. And Ashley's doing esthetician work now and facials and stuff, and just the education she's done in the past couple of years has allowed her to truly educate them and get them on a good regimen leading up to the wedding so that they get the best out of what she does, you know? So I feel like that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
With hair, it's either you like doing your hair, you don't like doing your hair. You like it up, you like it down. People
Yeah,
are
but I
weird
feel
about.
like there's a lot more that
I
goes into
guess.
that too, specifically
Yeah.
like
Well, people
make
have
sure-
weird quirks. They'll be like,
Yes.
"Oh, just I have troll ears. Don't show them." And I'm like, "You do not."
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
we're
get that a
our
lot.
worst critics.
Yeah.
We really are, like in general, looking at yourself and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a
But it's so beneficial to do that. And it's funny, like Ashleigh and I had been talking the last probably like 4 months about how different this year is with
really?
bookings wedding. Like we've always had, you know, I already had dates on my calendar in 2025 and even 2024. I'm still getting inquiries. And I'm like, in the past, like what's going on? But I think the economy is really changing what people have to do. And they're kind of looking at it like, let's book the stuff that I need.
Yeah.
And then if there's money left over,
Then they book
Yep.
the things.
which
that
I'm
they-
like,
And there's a lot of people that are looking at hair and makeup as being essential for them. And there's others that it's not essential, and that's understandable. Everybody has
Yeah.
different quirks of what works. But I always say, or at least I tell the brides, because of how in advance we book, we should be at least your top 3, maybe your top 4 main vendors. And that just goes across the board, not just us, just saying any hair and makeup team, because they book up so quickly
Right.
that it should, in my opinion, should be your venue, photographer, or videographer with it, then makeup
well,
and
because we've
hair.
always talked about you can have
And
the
floral.
best photographer and
Yes.
spend a boatload of money, but you don't like the way you look in the pictures.
Yeah, that's
Really
it's
matter.
hard.
You know, like
Yeah.
you can go with a mediocre photographer. If you love the way you look in those pictures, you might print them. You might put them in a canvas in your home. You might share them. But if you hate the way you look, doesn't matter how great the photographer is, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, again, there's people that find it really essential and other people that are like, ah, it's okay if I do my own. But, and we roll with either way.
And there's sometimes they will come back, honestly, and they're like, we should have hired.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
get that a lot.
Yeah, we get that a lot. And, you know, obviously deep down we understand because we've been in the industry for so long, but other people, as Heather was saying, to educate them, you know, you're already paying, honestly, so much for this wedding.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you might as well make sure that you get, you know, someone that's going to treat your day as it should be as well, because we're the first ones to arrive.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we're the ones that start the vibe. We're the ones that get you going. We're the ones that kind of bring that, you know, excitement to you, and we start the day.
Yeah.
So,
And then as soon as chaos ensues, we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, as soon as the photography comes, we're like, check, your turn.
but yeah, no, you really do. We get
Yeah.
there sometimes and people are like just waking up or, you know, and when we have the ability to like shake the mood a little.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And I always have music playing, always. The moment they come in, I'm like, guys, it's your wedding.
Is it their music choice or yours?
I start off with mine because we're there earlier, just because we need to set up. But 9 out of 10 times, if they have a playlist, I will turn mine off and they will
they're
put theirs on.
good. The playlists they come up with are
Yeah.
good.
What's our number 1 song? Do you remember that always plays?
Houston one?
Yes.
Whitney
is it?
Houston?
Yeah. Whitney Houston. It's,
Oh, really?
I would say is the number 1 song I hear at every single wedding.
And
I
then
want to
every
dance with
time-
someone.
Yeah, the first beat
yeah.
Oh,
just from
so
across
like
the
to
room.
start
Yes.
the day. Yeah, it's upbeat.
We look at her.
Everyone wants that high tempo
Yep.
kind of.
Oh, it's snuck in there
High
sometimes.
energy
Like they
day.
will have like country, then all of a sudden here comes Whitney. Like,
And then I'm doing hair. Ashley's, you know, she's the bride, and we both look. Yeah. Jam.
we're like, there's that song
Yeah.
again. It never fails.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna be
very fun.
disappointed this weekend if they don't play Whitney. Now that we just said this.
So you guys basically throw a party of hair and makeup one
Yeah, no, really.
Yes.
day. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
To really push that, you know, that energy up for it. Like
Yeah.
you said.
It should be. It's such a fun morning. It should continue that the moment you arrive. You know, you should have a good time.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
there's times we leave, and I'm like, oh, I want to be one of their friends. We just stay.
Yeah. Is it typically like the whole bridal party gets hair and makeup?
Most of the time, yes, we do get moms as well, mothers,
Oh, okay.
grandmothers. Lately, have been like kind of joining the pot, which is really sweet. So they get really excited to like be involved with it as well. But mostly bride and the bridesmaids, and I would say at least one mom. I would
Yeah.
say at least one will.
God, during like 2020, 2021, I mean, massive bridal parties. It'd be
Really?
Massive.
12.
I think the most we've had was either 18 or 20.
Yeah, we had to set up like in a conference
Yep.
room at a hotel. There was just no
Yeah.
space. And now we're seeing a big shift where it's like,
Yep.
Yeah, nobody can afford it.
It's
Like, yeah, you want to be in my wedding? I don't know.
So think about
Yeah.
nowadays. It's not a honeymoon. I mean, it's not a
Right.
bachelorette party down at Main Street, Putnam. They're getting on a plane. They're going
Yeah.
to Nashville for a weekend.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
it's insane. So the price of everything is just. But we've noticed that a lot. We've had, we have a minimum of 4 people that we
right.
need to do, and
Yes.
we're running into that a little bit where people are like, oh, I only have 3, I only have
Right.
2. Like we're
And
seeing
mine-
that, and
Yeah.
I was
it's
4
hard.
on each side at my wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a matter of being cheap or anything. I had plenty of friends that.
Yeah.
no-
Yeah.
It's like whatever you need to tell yourself.
I was about to say, I can't believe you found 3 people.
No, I don't know. I've seen the weddings where there's like bridesmaids, junior bridesmaids, and there's like 20 people up there. I'm like,
There's
I don't
more
think
people
I
up there than
want
sitting.
to
And I'm
make-
like, I don't even know that many people to even be in my wedding. Never mind, like
Yeah, I was in a wedding.
like 12.
2017. One of my best friends got married. One of my better friends actually got married.
I
And
understand.
I think there were 12 on each side, but they had a problem where like she could do 6, but he couldn't cut it off at 6, right? Because of like of closeness
Yes.
of people.
Yeah.
And it got to like 12, and they were like, okay, I guess it's 12, and it's like this long panoramic picture of the bridal party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh my gosh.
they are getting a bit smaller. So we used to do larger ones. Anything from 10 and more was normal.
Yeah.
And then now they're starting to get more about, I would say 6 to 8.
Yeah, that's
Is
feeling normal.
The norm is between 6 and 8. But next year, or the ones that are coming in, we are noticing a big like 3 to 4.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of inquiries that we've already been booked for the date this year, but then they would be like, it's just for me, or it's me and one other. So it's starting to shift
Yeah.
a little bit as well for the time, like the amount.
Yeah, I would imagine certain dates
Oh, they book
call
up
for.
quick.
Yeah, like I can remember. What was it? 7/7/07.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
We had like 3
Yeah.
weddings to go to ourselves. Like, oh my god.
Our biggest, I think at least this year, the busiest months are May, September, and October.
Ooh, October's always a
September, October are
Right.
always the number one.
We had a September wedding.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Fall, and it's so funny too because like even today we had some bridal trials and the mothers were there and they're like, I remember when it was June, like June was
Yeah.
the big month, and I'm like, June, everyone's away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or school's ending, and
Well, for
you know.
us, I noticed that June is like graduation parties.
Yes.
You know, Father's Day. There's just so much going on in June with
Yep.
especially just graduations and
Yep.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I feel like I mean, I've been to a kindergarten graduation party. Like everybody's finding reasons
Yeah, to
to
celebrate.
celebrate
Yeah.
and have a party, which is great. I'm all for that, you know.
Yeah.
But it definitely adds to the busy schedule of the average American. you know?
Yeah.
So
It does. So
COVID was so crazy when we had a lot of our 2020 brides had like a year to reschedule and like keep their rates at the same, not for us but for their
yeah, the venues
venue
The
and
venue.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so they got into situations where like the venue's already booked for 21. So they were like, all right, we'll get married on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we had like,
Yeah.
that was something we had never seen before. It was always
we do have a few Thursdays.
Saturday,
though.
Sunday. Yeah.
Thursday has been like
Yeah.
starting to be somewhat popular because they
wild.
want a specific month, but Saturday, Sunday, or whatever's already booked, so they'll take Thursday.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I remember Fridays were a big discount for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
weddings and stuff
Yep.
like that
Yep.
to get them off of Saturday.
Or off season, as they call it, which
Yeah.
is winter, obviously. So
Yeah.
some winter brides.
yeah.
I've been to a couple of winter weddings. They're
beautiful.
kind of wild. I
Yeah.
mean, can be cold, but
Yeah, especially venues that
But,
are
yeah.
outside. Whew.
Yeah. But like Right
yeah.
Smell does such a good job decorating and making it
oh,
look
sure.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked
Name
at
drop
Right
on
Smell.
that one.
yeah, sorry.
No, no. I mean, we want.
Bringing her-
Yeah.
There are people.
I was about to name the Lord Thompson Manor. My aunt had their wedding there almost 30 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago now, and I can remember as a kid going there the night before and taking all the Christmas decorations down because her wedding was
Yeah.
like December 27th or something like
Wow.
that. So it was like we went there and helped take all those decorations down, and when we decorated for her wedding, and then
I'm surprised she didn't just keep them up since it was so close. I know a lot of December brides
It
do
is-
that for
it
like the
is-
whimsical kind of.
yeah, and it is kind of odd for her because she loves Christmas. So I don't know. They just had a certain look. You know, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe there was just some Christmas stuff. I remember there was a huge tree that we took down in the main room, but we had so many people there too. They probably needed the room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but yeah, Lord Thompson Manor. I mean, they've been family friends forever, and yeah, plug whatever. I was actually going to ask you, like, you know,
Where we usually
Yeah.
work.
some of the great venues that you've
Or home
been
away
able to
from
work
home.
at.
So that's what we call Rice Mill Farm. As
Yeah.
much as we love all of our vendors and the venues that we work at, Rice Mill Farm is definitely our home away from home. We work with Kurt and Bree really closely with their brides. We work there almost every weekend.
Nice.
So we're
Sometimes
always
Friday, Saturday,
Yep.
Sunday.
Yep. And if it's not Heather and I, it's one of the girls in the company that are there.
How long were they closed from that fire?
I honestly don't know the exact time frame,
Yeah,
but they
a
just
couple of years ago, right? They had a
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
a
fire
feel
couple
like-
years ago.
They got up and running pretty quick.
Yeah,
They
oh,
did.
sure. Yeah.
Their
And
venue is
yeah.
stunning, and
Yeah.
they just did a brand new area of like where the reception is outside too, so that's brand new. And then they just did a brand new building, which I believe is like an Airbnb,
Oh,
so everyone can stay on location
Oh,
as
wow.
well now,
Yeah.
which is really amazing. So they're doing really well over there, and we love them. They know they treat us really
Right.
good, and
do.
they're
Yeah.
amazing. And then we also work at Stonehurst.
yeah. I've always wanted to see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
It's beautiful too. And if you're kind of unsure whether or not you want like that classy mansion kind of feel or the barn, they have both.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
choose between the barn or the mansion.
Can they do 2 weddings at the same time?
They can.
Oh.
They're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're efficient.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, they do really, really well over there as well, and it's beautiful. Just very spacious as well in both of their locations. It's really, really nice. And then we also do a lot at, well, not a lot, I would say, but I would say more in the summertime. We get a lot of at Allen Hill Farm.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're literally right there. So it's like a stone throw
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
where I am. So that's really nice. We are there, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I've
It's-
been to events there. It's up on the
Yeah.
top of the hill and stuff. They're friends of my wife's family, and
Yeah.
we've camped there in November
Have you? It's
for our Friendsgiving weekend. Oh, it was so cool.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. They have a really cool bridal suite there as well, and Amy is really easy to work with over there as
Yeah.
well. So I really enjoy when we get the opportunity to be there with those brides.
Yeah.
And then there's actually yesterday I was just at a wedding expo for the Evergreen Farms that just opened in Dayville.
Okay.
I didn't realize that's brand new.
Brand new. Yeah.
Where is it
What
on
road are they?
101?
Yeah.
It is. Oh God! Now you're gonna ask me the address.
No, not the address. No, it's like, oh, it's near 4Gs, or it's near this, or
It's near, like, I believe. Oh my God! now
Talking
you're
more
telling me.
Pomfret, more Ashford.
Oh my God, she's gonna kill me because
Dayville?
I'm not saying like the exact
Well, the
thing.
pictures I saw, I was like, that's probably gorgeous in
Yeah,
there.
it's very cool.
Yeah. It's literally like right off the.
How did you
the
get
main
there?
street. No, do not. Okay.
Took me there.
If my parents ever listen to this, they're gonna be like, "Why are they asking directions for Ashley?" Because
We're both
GPS
the
through-
worst.
You really shouldn't be doing that.
No. Like, I will be the first one.
I'm
to tell
sorry, I
you.
set you up to fail. We asked what you wouldn't want to be asked. I didn't think that was.
Where you were yesterday.
Yeah, where was I today? It is absolutely stunning, though. It's a family, venue, and they did an absolute beautiful job. The bridal suite is stunning. It's large. It's very, if Kurt's listening right now, he's going to be like, come on, Ashley. So we joke around with the lighting at Wrights. It's really good for hair.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kurt. It's terrible for makeup. For me, per se, because
Oh,
I like
for
the
you, trying
natural,
to
so I always sneak in the side where their window is. So I'm like in a little box
Oh,
area
yeah.
to do it because I need that natural. But so change your lights, Kurt. He did tell me the
Add
other day
more
that he would change them
windows.
for me. Not even that though. Just those.
We looked at
tweaks.
Wrights Mill, but we ended up going to the public house.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Public House is really
a
nice
couple
too,
there.
though. Yeah, we've had a couple there.
Yeah,
Yep. So
they do. Yeah, they can do 4 weddings at a time right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's Yeah.
The staff that's
yeah.
required for that to like happen is
Yeah.
insane.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even
It's
imagine.
insane. And then the last one, I just want to say one more, last main one that we usually is at the mansion of Bald Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With Janet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So so we actually did Janet's daughter's wedding, which was really cool to do and stuff. So we work there, and that is beautiful just as much. And I love
Yeah.
their landscape on the outside, like
So
for the
pretty.
wedding. It's very beautiful. So
Remax Bill Park books a lot of events there, like our
Yeah.
Christmas parties.
Oh,
and stuff.
nice.
Yeah, we love it there.
yeah,
So,
they're great. We have a really good community of venues around our area, which
Yeah.
I can understand why people from all over come over here because there are so many beautiful ones to choose from.
right.
Lack of hotels, though.
Well,
Well.
we're working on it.
If anyone's listening, there you go. Like, get yourself a nice Airbnb set up or something around here for the people because there's tons of venues.
Yep. It's great when you can have those relationships with the venues because you guys are probably plugging each other, and you become walking, talking billboards for each other as far
Oh,
as,
yeah.
like whether the band or the DJ or the makeup artist, the wedding planner, the venue, whoever gets the client, and everybody can kind of come in and work as that team.
It's a really nice give and take. It is,
Yeah.
and I noticed that even from a few vendors that I saw yesterday at the expo, like they came up and they're like, "Oh, we always recommend you," and it was
Nice.
really sweet to hear because you don't know all the time where word of mouth is coming from,
Yeah.
like
Right.
So that's was really sweet to hear that people are putting our name out there and suggesting to their brides us and stuff, just like we do as well. Like if we have bridal trials and we're talking and if they don't have a photographer yet, or if they don't have this, we're always like, oh, well, we recommend them. Like we've worked with them and they're really, a
So
beautiful job.
do brides like pick a venue and they're like, okay, now I want to find somebody local to the area to do hair and makeup and all that stuff, or did they find you and then they're like, oh, where do I want to? Will you travel this far, or how does that work?
Oh, it goes both ways. We've got some
Yeah.
girls that are like, before I go see these venues, I want to know what dates we could do it.
Oh,
And we're
Yeah.
like,
okay.
oh, okay. And then other times they're just trying to find the match for the date that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of girls, use their regular hairdresser.
Yeah.
They'll do the hair. So sometimes she's just doing makeup and I'm sitting that one out. But yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah. And I would imagine it's just like most weddings are a year out to plan, right? At
Yeah,
least?
Oh,
you're-
easily.
Yeah.
Even that's a little late.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nowadays
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah. Like even like I said, the September, October, those are already
Those are gone.
coming in and they're getting
Yeah.
booked up really fast. So I had a lot of girls yesterday that came to that expo. One out of all of them I saw actually was a 2026 bride,
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
and I was actually really proud of her because I was like, "You're doing it right. Like
Yeah.
you are actually
Oh
coming."
my god, that sounds like hell planning a wedding for 2 years.
Yeah,
It
if
does, but once you get everything done, look at that other year. You can just enjoy and look forward to maybe just doing the little detail things, at the end of it.
Yeah,
or
I
even
mean,
you can schedule everything, but then do the details. Like
Right.
she's talking about, like when you meet them ahead of time.
Yep,
with,
details
the
of that,
trial,
yep.
and then like you can do the food tasting kind of at your leisure because you've already booked.
that's the
that.
best part.
Agreed.
I thought on this episode the hair and makeup was the best part.
It's the food.
That was the one thing that Rob told me when we were planning our wedding. He's like, I just care about the food and the music. That was it. Like, I could do whatever I want for everything else except the food. And I'm like, that makes sense. Yep.
I think that's a fair trade-off.
I think it is
Yeah.
too. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I have married a picky eater, so
Oh, me too.
everything was kind of up to her.
Oh, see, I was actually
Hey.
really good with that because Rob has good taste and he's very open to everything. We were very open to everything. Not so much everybody in the family was open for everything, but
not
I
their
wouldn't worry
wedding.
about that.
Exactly.
This is the day you get to worry about you.
That's right.
yeah, I thought it was really good. So
Yeah.
And that one piece of advice I got, like in the beginning, was like, it's at the end of the day, the goal is to get married. And it was
It is.
my minister, and he was like, "I'm gonna marry you."
Yeah.
it is true though. We even tell the girls at the trials, we're like, you may get so nervous that something's not going to work out,
Yeah.
but the only person that knows that is you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone that's coming to that wedding is just enjoying being there for you both.
Right.
I think the best like advice that I got was when you're nervous and you stand up there and you look out, every single person that's here is here to support you.
Yeah.
Right.
And here because they love you and that they want to see this journey through with you and they're excited to do it. Because we do get those brides that get a little bit nervous and you're
I'm
like,
like, where's the shots?
like you know
Well,
everything.
I'm like, my
everything.
bride needs one now.
Have you ever had a bride be like, "You're staying"? Like,
Oh, on.
We've had ones we want to stay with. We're like, this is so fun.
We've had a lot of invitations
Yeah.
to stay and stuff, which is really sweet. But deep down, yes, we kind of want to, and at the
Yeah.
same time, we're like, no, like this is your day.
But what's on the menu?
Yep.
maybe we'll stay back here. Can you bring us a
Yeah.
plate?
Yeah, you eat this cheese now?
Yeah, right.
Brie always comes in with this beautiful spread.
Oh,
and we're always like, no
stunning.
one's going to eat that. Huh?
We've been working for 4 hours, like starving, and we're like, oh, that looks
Oh, you know,
good.
DJ, where you demand a meal.
Yeah, right?
No, nobody wants me touching food and touching their face.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, that's
it's a big no-no. No.
Excuse me while I lick my face.
Right?
Right?
Oh, good.
Oh, God, it's so bad. No,
Pick.
I usually have a coffee on the way there,
Yeah.
so I'm good for those
right,
hours,
right,
and
yeah.
then I'm dying in the car on the way home.
Do you guys ever, I mean, people get sick, right? Have you ever, and you're doing tons of weddings, has that happened where you needed like a substitute?
Oh.
Or
Like a
what
substitute
do you do?
bride? Like,
Oh,
No.
Nick,
Marry her.
Not the bride getting sick.
Oh, I was gonna say, trust me, we've been there. We've actually
Yeah.
seen some brides had a bit of hardcore hangovers from the night before that. Where
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, they
not
have
enough makeup
shots
for that,
now?
huh?
They have-
I've actually, I think it was maybe last year. She was absolute sweetheart, and it wasn't the bride; it was one of the bridesmaids, and she had a little fun that night. And the poor
As
thing couldn't
you
even
should.
sit in my chair, so I did her makeup while she was lying on the couch at Wright's. Do you remember that?
oh wow.
No, because we walked, and it was like still COVID, and we walked
Yes.
in, and I'm like, she is very ill.
But I packed up all
my.
my stuff and I went
Yeah.
to her because I was like, you have your service. I'm here for you. I'm gonna do what I can. So she laid back and I did her makeup when
Let's
she was
rally.
on there and
Yeah.
say, pull through it. And she did after. Like she took
Yeah.
something obviously to calm
I
her.
don't think we've ever had anybody like a service provider ever get sick, have we?
And would at the very beginning we've had, but I'll be honest, it's one of those things that I've had in a couple episodes when I was really, really ill, but I still
You-
made it. It was their day. I still make it.
Yeah.
So either I put the mask on or
They
do
were-
something.
And you gave the sickness to them for their honeymoon.
No.
Correct.
That's where I got strep throat on my honeymoon. You did mine.
No, that was not me. I did do Heather's makeup though.
She did.
No, I was
Strep
not
on my
sick on that day.
honeymoon.
No, honestly, like out of all the years I've been doing it, I can honestly remember maybe 3 times that I was sick, but I still made a point to go because it was either that or
Well, now
We
you
have a-
have 8. Would you say 8 employees?
9. Yeah.
9 employees. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So yes, of course, we could have somebody to
Yeah.
cover if need be.
And I think
Right.
all of the girls that we have know the severity.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you gotta,
Yeah,
you know,
they
and we
They're
would
all
do that for
amazing.
you.
I love my girls. I do. I love them all. I think they're all fantastic, and I do believe that they would step in if need be for another if something
There
was
was
to
that
occur.
one wedding last summer where I didn't remember that I thought I had a Sunday flight, but it was actually a Saturday flight, and I woke up in the morning,
Did.
right? And I was like, oh my God, I have to get on a plane in like 4 hours. And I was like, okay, she's on vacation. I'm not going to call her and tell her.
You could have.
So I just made it work. And I was like, I'm going to move my flights. I'm going to get a rental car. And it was fine. But it was
But
just,
see, that's why I love Heather because she gets it done
Yeah.
without needing
yeah, you don't need
to-
to know about that.
honestly.
Is this the
tell
first
me.
time you've heard about that?
No, she
Oh.
did tell me.
Later, weeks later, I told her.
She did tell
Like,
me.
so remember that one?
There has been times that I feel
Still
like,
jam too.
it does. It happens with the wedding industry, and regardless if it's hair and makeup, any vendor, if something was to occur, you have to have a plan B,
Yeah.
plan C.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
well-
you have to have.
in podcasting, the show must go on.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Although
Yep.
we haven't had one where you were sick and I had to roll with it. We've
Right.
only had one. It was
Right.
with
That's
Rena.
because I'm unstoppable.
There's so many.
I'm not a.
I don't even know.
I don't cancel because I have sniffles like you.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I don't even remember why it was canceled. I don't know.
You had COVID. You were quarantined.
Oh yeah, that's probably valid then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, it was fine.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
no, it wasn't. 'Cause I screwed up part of it.
Oh no.
So, oh well, we'll have him back on. We'll make it better.
Oh, I'm glad it wasn't this week.
You never can tell.
I know we had this plan for like,
like-
what, couple months?
Yeah,
ago?
yeah, we have to.
Yeah, we're booked out till August now.
That's great.
So,
That's amazing.
yeah, so that's been nice that people reach out to us now.
I feel so
to-
important now.
people reach out to us now and makes us not have to chase for content. So
Yeah.
it's been great that
That's
way.
good.
So, and we found out that last week we can vamp. We can we went on for about 45
Oh, yeah.
We went on for 45 minutes to tell people it was canceled.
This would be me and you.
Yeah. I don't even think we would need a subject. I think we would just
Yeah, we
remark
did.
and that would be our podcast.
We didn't have one. We went on
Podcast.
no notes.
So ours would be kind of messed up. I think we'd be talking about beauty, hair, and makeup. Then we'd be like, "Did you watch that crime show?
Oh yeah, it was like a
So
crime
good."
junkie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tangents are fine.
Yeah.
We have those.
We did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
We go out on them.
Each week would be something different.
What's I mean, everybody knows Bridezilla, right?
Yeah.
So
Give us some of those
It's-
stories.
you don't have to give specifics. I'm
Yeah.
just curious how often you encounter difficult situations.
The brides rarely ever.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It is mom, sister. It's them.
Yeah.
You know, our brides are amazing. I think every single wedding I've walked away from, I'm like, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But it doesn't honestly. It doesn't happen on like knock on wood. Does not happen very often. And even if it's one of the family members or a bridesmaid, it's not so much they're like bridezilla. I think it's more of they're just particular.
Yeah.
And
It's a
when-
political way to put it. Yeah.
but it's but it's the truth. Like you are particular. Like if you're used to having your hair a certain way or used to having your makeup a certain way, it does take a lot for somebody to trust in somebody else
Yeah.
to do it nicely. So
I think too, a lot of all that emotion comes out before that day, right?
Yeah.
Like leading up to it,
Yeah.
getting all these
Yeah.
things. Or once you hit that day, everything's already set, and you're just
Right.
show up and do
Yeah.
it, right? And
But it's really not the brides going back to the bridal trial. They've already know what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
already
They're
met
on
us, so
board.
they're the ones that are more the easygoing. It's usually the only time I notice my bride's getting nervous is if it has something to do with the timing. That they're nervous that we may run over, or the photographers don't give enough time for photos because of us needing to get done what we need to get done. So that's the only time, at least for me, that I notice if our brides are nervous of something. It's making sure the timing,
Well, let me just mention,
our timelines and everything.
we are never the reason.
No.
Anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you guys have like our photographer? Had,
We're too type A.
Yeah. But
our photographer had like printouts for
Oh,
us.
God, yeah.
Like, oh, here's your time.
Yep.
So you guys have the same
Yeah.
same
So
idea.
we
like,
do.
All right, try and schedule your day out a little
Yeah.
bit.
we do.
But
That
we're
helps
so
immensely.
efficient. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like we know, we've been doing this for a long time. I know every single person's going to take 45 minutes. Her and I just switch. She's got bride. She comes to me after. Rarely are you waiting around for anybody. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, I can't believe how fast you guys are. And we've always said, we will not be the reason you're
Yeah.
late.
yeah, and plus you guys are the start, right? So if
Yeah.
you guys run late, then photography run like it. Somebody's
And
got
I'm
to
that
catch up.
annoying person that arrives like 15, 20 minutes before I need to.
Nice.
Even though the timing I gave the other girls are something
Right.
specific. And I'm like, I'll be there early just because I'm one of those people that I feel like I need to be there early in case, God forbid, the night before I don't sleep. Like, I
my
just
God.
don't. I get nervous my alarm's not going to go off or Henry sleeps in. Is my alarm. So I'm like, it's just ridiculous that I feel like that before a wedding, but it's always been like that for years because you just don't want to be late,
Right.
obviously.
It's a big deal.
Right.
And like the Bridezilla stuff, or like Ashleigh has such a great, usually get them first and then I get them after.
Yes.
So she has such a great way of like, you identify, like, you're not being awful to me. You're stressed out. You're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We don't take it personally.
No.
Right, right,
And like,
right.
we have a really good emotional intelligence because of what we do, that we can really kind of steer the ship a different way.
We can read your body language pretty well.
Yeah. And like, you know,
that in your body language makes a big difference. You're
Totally.
relaxed. Like I can
Yep.
tell that when you guys came in here. We've had people sit on this side and they're like nervous and they're like really worried about either saying something wrong or whatever. And like when you guys came into the studio, we were just like, this is gonna this is
Yeah.
great.
well, like when we do this for a living, like
Yeah.
we talk. I'm a hairdresser. I talk to people. I talk to when I travel. I talk to strangers for 3 days in a row. Like you just learn to communicate really
And
well.
when I do facials, I get to almost fall asleep with them.
Now, is that something that like does that like a facial? Does that make the skin better for makeup later? Oh, okay.
Oh,
so let's
yeah.
talk about that then.
So I do include the bridal facials as well, and I do have like bridal facial packages for our brides. So that is really amazing because there's some girls that come to the bridal trial or beforehand that like I really need a regimen or I want to be on a regimen, meaning I need like skincare products, you know. This one, this one, this one. So they'll come to me and ask, or I'll offer it because if I'm doing their trial and they have dry skin or something's going on, I will recommend them right there and there. Like, this is what I recommend. I can help you, guide you. Or if you don't want to do it, that's okay too. Like, I'm just here to help. But when I do the facials, I see a huge difference. And my brides that have been coming to me continue coming to me even after their weddings, which is wonderful. You become a good relationship with them. And they even say it, like they notice a huge difference, especially how smooth the makeup goes on, how more natural, not cakey or
Yeah.
anything. I'm not a heavy-handed makeup artist anyway, but it's a huge difference. And I would love to see actually more moms
Yeah.
coming, or more of the, group of the ladies, because it makes such a difference.
Right.
It really, really does. And so I do offer that. And I would have to say a good amount of the brides have been coming for their facials, even if it's one or two just before the wedding. Even that alone does tremendous.
Okay.
And even if they don't come to me, which is fine, they may be further away, I always recommend go get yourself a nice basic facial before the wedding, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't even realize that was the thing.
Oh, yeah. I get some grooms, too.
Okay.
I have had some grooms, which has been...
Facial and makeup.
No, just
The-
the
just the facial?
facial. Yep.
Okay.
Although I've had a couple weddings that the brides wanted me to powder the grooms because they were very shiny.
I've done some broken blood vessel makeup on a
Oh,
good
yeah.
friend of ours
Oh.
whose birthday was
too.
the night before the wedding and had a lot of fun. And then the next morning he's like, "You need to fix this." But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That reminds me of a bride that I had, oh my God, probably 4 years now, 4 or 5. I'll never forget her. Poor thing. Very fair, by the way, like light skinned.
Light-skinned.
And she tripped over something 2 or 3 days before the wedding down the stairs, and she had a giant black eye. And I mean a giant black eye. It wasn't as swollen, but the color itself. And she showed me a picture, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, all right, theater makeup,
Yeah.
you're coming into play. And on the day, and the pictures and everything, no one had any idea, which was amazing. I was really happy about that. But just for her getting that, poor thing, I
Well,
was
you
like,
had one that recently that had like this huge allergic
oh,
reaction.
yeah, look.
Oh, geez.
She allowed me to post it because I always ask permission before I post any photos. But
Yeah.
she was in one of our hairstylists, Jenna,
Yeah.
chair, and I believe she was eating like a vegetable wrap or something.
Oh, man.
And as she was walking, she was the last one for me to do before going to do her first looks. She had a huge reaction. And when I
Just
say
rash
huge,
or anaphylactic.
it looked like a rash, but it was pretty
Wow.
intense.
I don't know how you would show that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
That
camera.
one, I don't know
Yeah.
if you can see.
So
Hold on.
And she gave permission, so
look at
she's
the
okay.
before and after.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
before and after of that.
That's
Wow.
great.
Yep.
Yeah. You can't. Now, is that like an airbrush?
No.
Is that like a thing? Airbrushing makeup?
It is a thing. We don't provide airbrush, and it's more of a personal preference.
Okay.
I did airbrush a long time ago when that was like the new upcoming thing for bridals. Like everyone thought, oh, wedding equals airbrush.
Okay.
Makeup has definitely come a long way.
So you kind of don't need it now.
I don't
Okay.
personally like the feeling of it on the skin. and I don't personally like the look. If they ask me if I do airbrush, I'm very honest with them that we just don't provide that, because it's just, like I said, it's a personal preference. And most of my brides that come for makeup want that natural glowy or that natural light matte like skin. They don't want it to, it kind of almost looks like no dimension, I guess you could say.
Like overly edited.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
AI made you.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. I mean, if that's, you know, I'm not judging if that's the way you go for your makeup, or you're a makeup artist that does that. I think it's amazing, and it is a talent to be able to do that. It's just not my specialty, and it's not what I offer.
And that was a big trend, like early on then too.
Yeah,
you know,
it was. And like I said, all the makeup nowadays have, especially the foundations and stuff, have definitely come up with more like really good ingredients, long wear, waterproof. So they're not going to budge.
I would imagine all of it has to be waterproof, right?
Yes.
It's just crying and.
It's probably the number one question you get asked.
I do.
Yeah.
I get that a lot, especially moms, because
Yeah.
obviously they're tearing up. So I always tell them to, you know, Dad, don't smear, because I'm not going to be there to save you after. So as soon as you smear it, no matter how much setting, you know, spraying and everything. But yes, everything that we use, including the girls in the company, are long wear, waterproof, oil-free. So we make sure that it lasts the whole time, because we're starting early. It's got to last to that ceremony, you know, in the photos and even after that. But we've gotten a few brides, at least for me, come back and they're like, my hair and makeup, they shouldn't tell me this as an esthetician, telling me you're sleeping in it. But they loved it so much, they would sleep in it, and the next morning they would like message and be like, it still looks perfect. And I'm like, I love that, but I don't like that you slept in it.
Wash your face.
Yes. Yep.
Gotcha. So what's the furthest out you've traveled for a wedding?
Destination.
Oh, okay.
wow.
So you're going to like.
So, I mean, I guess this could count. It's one of Rob and my good friends in England. So I did do her makeup and her wedding. That was actually one, and she knows this already. She was well aware. I was sick as a dog. Sick as a dog the night before. And my very good friend, Sarah, who is also friends with the bride, was a nurse. Well, is a nurse, and saved my life, because I wasn't even gonna be able to go to the wedding. Like, I went there. I don't know how I did it. I'll be honest. I have no idea how. I couldn't even get off the bed that morning. Like, I just got there and did it. And,
incapacitated thing.
Yep. Yeah. And I know it sounds great right now. But see, this is how dedicated I am.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated for you.
That's what they want.
Yes, dedication is key. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, my friend Sarah saved the day, and I was able to go to the wedding, and I danced all night, and you wouldn't have thought at all that I was sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or I felt anything the morning.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
To Jamaica.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I would love to do more destinations
Did
for
you do
sure.
Lindsay? in
No, I
Jamaica?
didn't do Lindsay's. Nope.
That was just me for that one. That was
Yeah.
a fun one. I was like, oh shucks, a business expense.
The end of the year. Yeah, I would love to do more.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we get many opportunities for destination because of how many venues we have around here. So we
Right.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
And it
like
is kind of a destination, New England
it is.
weddings.
we'll get a lot of people that were like, where are you from? Why
Yeah.
are you here?
Yeah.
You know?
We're the last
Yeah.
Green Valley.
Obviously.
We do have brides coming from other states
We've
over.
had
We've had
Florida.
LA, we've had
Wow.
New
Yeah.
York, we've had
Yeah.
other girls come
Denver.
from state. Yep,
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I mean, if the venues do a fantastic job on their website with advertising, right? And so when you're not from the area and you're like, oh, I want to get married in this area, and you look at these, they sell themselves really well, but they all live up to it, you know?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
They
So-
do.
They do.
Yep.
I think that's the coolest thing about being really good with like Bree and Kurt at Wrights Mill. It's like they have such a high standard for what they do, and if
Yeah.
they're recommending us, that we know that they have that we can stand up to the
Right,
standard.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's like the best compliment you can get.
It's a very nice compliment. It is,
Yeah.
especially like I said, the word of mouth and people.
Mm-hmm.
It's really really nice to hear. You don't hear it, like I said, very often, but when you get that once in a while, a person saying it, I was like, oh, that's really nice. Or someone's like, oh, you're Ashleigh, and I'm like, you know me? I was like, what?
He does that too.
Yeah, right. I was
You've
like,
heard me before?
It's surprising.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
It's weird to get recognized in public.
It's very weird.
I think that's great.
I think it's even like you were recognized because of real estate, but then there's like this whole other venture, and somebody recognizes you for that, and you're like, wow, it's different.
Yeah.
I was just in England in January, and it was kind of the same thing. Like, we're a global company that I work with, so they have their team there, and I remember being like, "Oh, I couldn't wait to meet you," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, well, your story's been through the company, and they're
It's
like,
wild,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, hi."
I think it's great.
It's
I'd be like, oh, so you do. that. I am a big deal in New
Yeah.
England.
Yeah.
But yes,
Live in
I
Rhode
would
Island.
love to do more destination. I think that would be great. A lot of fun to do that. I have no problem packing the kit and going type of thing. We're traveling.
But they got to pay your whole way, right?
And they do actually. If they want you,
I mean, they would know
enough,
that, so I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah.
a surprise to them, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Typically, they're probably paying for other people to. They probably have a block of seats and a block of rooms, and it's just
Right.
more and more. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
But we've
But-
gotten really lucky too. We've been able to really hone in our area because of the popularity that,
Yes.
Ashleigh's been able to put about, is that we're able to pretty much, instead of spreading out and driving an hour this way and an hour that way every single weekend, we pretty much get to just stay at the same place, and that's
Yeah.
what that gives you.
It is.
That
That's why
long-term.
we say like home away from home to these vendors that are near us, because we only do. Not
Yeah.
only, let me rephrase that. We do most of them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We sometimes will go to Newport.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
We used to do a few years back a bit more traveling. So we would go into Massachusetts, we would go into Rhode Island, further in Connecticut. But then, like Heather just said,
Remember that one in Newport? The bungalow right on the beach. And we were like, wow, okay,
It
this
was-
is
Put me
terrible
at a
Thursday.
mansion.
no, it was like a little.
Castle Hill?
Was it
Castle Hill? They have like these tiny little bungalows, like literally right on the sand dunes.
Like you get
Wow.
off your bed, open the door, and there's the water.
In
Like it
Newport?
was stunning. Yeah, it was
Maybe only like what, 8
beautiful.
of them,
Yeah.
9
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
But we were like, well, this is gonna be
$5,000
terrible
a night.
Thursday.
When-
We did. We were like, how much does it cost us?
Yeah.
we literally both text our husbands. We're like, so.
Yeah.
And then immediately we
Really
were like,
like this
maybe no.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come in January.
Right on the water for $100 a night.
I would honestly maybe
Weird.
do it still. It would be
Yeah.
cold, but
If it had
was
heat,
beautiful.
it's still
Yeah.
you'd
It
still
was
get
great.
that view.
Yeah.
I do have a friend that loves Newport, and he goes almost every January
Yeah.
for like a week, and he's like, I own
But
it.
it
I mean, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Newport is a different beast, though, for weddings. Wouldn't you? Like
Oh,
that.
it's a different vibe, but I think that goes with anywhere else. Like when I used
Yeah.
to do the weddings in Boston,
Yeah.
you know, that was a very different vibe, a very different feel for even what the brides wanted.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on where you are. I feel our girls are more into the natural soft glam
Yeah.
hair. I would
Yep.
probably say like more of
They're
the
like just organic and not overdone.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then you go other places. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, give it to me all.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know.
yeah.
All the extensions, all the everything.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Have you had brides that look one way and then totally different person by the time you're done? Like when you say over the top, or
I mean,
over,
every.
like-
I don't
No,
think
but
yeah.
give yourself that credit. Every single time she does a trial, and I'm seeing the back of their head the whole time, so I don't get to really see them.
She sees
until
the
they're
head
done.
in my face.
And I just get
Lucky
sprayed
devil.
with stuff left and right the whole entire time. But and then so I see them when they come in. I do their trial, and then I walk back around front, and I'm like, who is this human? Like, I don't.
But it's
know how
not
you do
enough
what
to
you
like
do.
scare them. Like I don't want to give
No,
the
but
wrong impression,
you
thinking like
see
you
these-
see it and you're like, oh my god, like it's
No.
not even me. But it is you. As
It's
you're just
enhancements.
enhanced.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's enhanced,
It's
naturally
enhancements.
enhanced.
Yeah. So every time it's like, oh my god, you turn around, you're like, this is a different person, and the way that they carry themselves.
afterwards. Yeah. Well, it says right here
That's-
in your thing, enhancing beauty and inspiring confidence.
That's the best part.
And that's the goal. That's what we
Yeah.
really want. We want them to feel confident and excited for the day. Like after, we don't want them worrying. We don't want
Yeah.
them to be like, oh my god, this was not what we.
I mean, you
wanted."
dictate their mood, I guess, right?
We
Yeah.
do.
That-
And
Yeah.
we're very honest. So if we do, it's a trial. Like it's not going to be perfect. And we
Yeah.
always tell everybody that it will be perfect on your day, but your trial is trial and error, like seeing what works, what doesn't work.
And the best part is that we both say, like, you will not in any way, shape, or form
Just gonna
hurt
say
my
that.
feelings.
Yep.
Right.
Be
Yeah.
honest.
I
We-
will lose sleep knowing that you went home and cried
Yeah.
about how you didn't get what you want. I will not lose sleep if you ask me to move this piece of hair. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
and we've been doing it. Like, you
Yep.
grow a backbone in this industry where you got to let things just roll off you and nothing's personal. And we very vocally allow them. And we will say that. You will not hurt my feelings. Just tell me what you want. I want to make you happy.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes they don't know what they want. So I'm not a mind reader. I can't, you know, I do
Right,
my best
yeah.
from what the photo you're showing me and what you're explaining, but sometimes it doesn't connect. Sometimes the photo you're showing, same with hair, a photo of hair or makeup, and then you're explaining what you want. I'm like, those are two completely different things. So I have to explain it. What, you know, particularly in that photo, do you like? What don't you like? So there's a lot more to it than just seeing a photo and be like, okay. Although I have had, there's like 3 photos. I made up names for these girls on Pinterest because I don't know who they are, but I see them all the time. So I'm like, this one's Jessica, this one's Stephanie. Like, I make up different ones, and I got to see Jessica today. Did you? I did.
They have a whole background.
I should have a background for them. I just have names right now because when they show it, I'm like, yeah. And I literally will look at it and be like, I'll be done in like 20 minutes. Like, I know what I'm
see
doing.
the picture again, and like, no, I'd be okay if I didn't.
Right? I'll see it in the next bride. Don't worry.
Like, I remember, like, what was it? Like 3 years ago, I was like, oh, we're fresh sold out of that Taylor Swift image.
Yeah.
Fresh out. But that's the crazy thing. Like, every single year, there's a new trend. There's a new,
Yes.
you know, and so it's
I don't know.
adapting to
Stephani's
that.
been pretty popular for like 3 years right now. So I see Stephanie and Jessica.
Maybe
a lot.
she's ready for early retirement. I don't know.
I am so glad someone other than Kyle brought up Taylor Swift on this podcast.
Whoa. When we talked about Taylor Swift with Adam, he was way more a Swiftie than I
Do
was.
you see how excited you just made this girl right now? Like, do you see this glow? This glow. Like, we literally just did a wedding at Stonehurst last weekend, was it?
Yes.
And we're both in the car, and I see her, and I was listening to Taylor's new album, and I went around, and she puts it down, and she goes, "Did you listen to Taylor's new album?" And I'm like, I literally was just listening to it.
That's funny.
You know what it is, too? Is it's like, I was never into her music or anything.
Oh, well,
But
sorry.
You
I
can't
was like,
deny that chick is a girl boss.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And like, I don't know, being in a women-dominated industry, you can't help but appreciate.
Well, if you take all the antics away and you just look at everything she's accomplished, it's like
incredible.
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, being a woman in our and it's like, yeah, you can do anything. And like hearing that, and it just becomes, especially our generation, like it became an anthem to, you know, the fact that you can be in business, you can be a badass.
I'm impressed
boss.
with her lyrics. That's
You
what
know?
I'm impressed that she can write her music and does everything. That I respect that. I think that's really cool.
I'm glad she does what she does so I can make fun of Kyle.
You do need content.
I don't know. You're kind of like 3 against 1 right now. So.
Oh, I've been way outnumbered before.
Doesn't scare him.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure I could find a better place or a better way to end this. You think?
No.
Why don't you plug your website one more time?
Okay.
Spell it out.
I'm not spelling it. Ashleigh is spelled differently. I will say that. It's Ashleigh, ASHLEIGH, but the website is www.ashleightaylor.bridalbeauty.com.
Nice. And this is Ashleigh Taylor Bridal and Beauty LLC, coming to you from the Community Workbench. Thanks for watching, everyone. The Community Workbench podcast family is kicking off their spring season by promoting the Be the One campaign. It was started by the American Legion in efforts to stop veteran suicide. For more details, visit betheone.org. Join us on Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m. when we interview Wicked Sinister's owner, Paul LeVake. He has quite the story to come here with. And as always, buy local, hire local, dine local, volunteer local, and donate local. Have great days, everyone.